Hello, I am Joel Bloom at New Jersey Institute of Technology. We pride ourselves on being part of the Newark community and its advancements in technology, the economy, and the growth of the city. That's why we are very proud to partner with the CAUCUS Educational Corporation to produce Newark at the Crossroads right here on the NJIT campus. We hope you enjoy this special series.
Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by Barnabas Health Life is Better Healthy, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, TD Bank, Verizon Communications, PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities, the Fidelco Group, and by the North Ward Center. Promotional support provided by NJBIZ, All Business, All New Jersey, and by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
I'm Steve Adubato. We're at the New Jersey Institute of Technology. This is One-on-One, and we are honored to have, once again, the president of NJIT, Dr. Joel Bloom. How you doing, partner?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you.
It is great to be here once again. We were here last summer. We were here in August 2015. Last year we were here at the same time. A lot has gone on this campus and in this city since then, right?
Yes.
Some of the biggest things.
Well, some of the biggest things, we've got a new mayor. And
we just had him sitting in that chair a few hours ago, right?
And Ras Baraka, and not unlike his predecessor, good partnerships. We have about 200 Newark High School students here this summer, including 25 of them in the Ras Baraka coding camp. And about 175 of them are working with some of our faculty in architecture and design for the beautification of the city. So they get some instruction and they go out and exercise it in 4 or 5 different locations around the city. So that's something new. We did a lot of things with Senator Booker, but not quite at the grassroots level, literally, as we are working with Mayor Baraka. We've also, we've launched a building program.
Talk innovation. The word innovation and NJIT go together. Why? What's the name of the institute?
New Jersey Institute of Technology. We created the New Jersey Innovation Institute. Very simply, most academic institutions, we all have in our mission statement, education. Some of us have research, some of us have community service, but NJIT has always had, since the mid-1960s, economic development. So we have economic development in our DNA, if you will. And to operationalize that, we have incubators. As you know, we have 95 incubator companies.
Tell folks what that means. I'm not sure everyone knows.
Incubator says it's a startup company, mostly in the technology science area. They come here, they reside in buildings that we own on this campus. We help them with employees, many of our students, some of our faculty, equipment. We give them advice. We expose them to venture capitalists, to legal advice, to clerical advice, clerical assistance rather, and they develop technology, they develop products, everything from working in photovoltaic to cauterization to stop bleeding in the brain during surgery. So they're at the edge. They are really doing groundbreaking work. And it comes from the synergy between having a science and technology university and innovators, entrepreneurs, people who make a difference in the quality of life we all have here.
Joel, if we and I have had this conversation over the years. NJIT is one of the most significant partners, those of us in public broadcasting, an underwriter of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, full disclosure. But in the conversations we've had on the air and off, what's interesting is that the city has evolved clearly over that time. What do you see today in terms of development and opportunity that you did not see, say, 5 years ago when we started our partnership?
Panasonic, Audible, a new Prudential tower. I'm aware of 1 million square feet in additional residential facilities, several 100,000 in retail facilities. Biotrials is opening in our University Heights Science and Technology Park. So there's increasing business and industry in the city. There's now at least 400 small manufacturers in the city. Corporations have come to the city. The Prudential Center is now in the city. We had the PAC, great Newark Museum, and of course all of the academic partners.
And on the media side, I said this in one of the other programs, I'll say it again, NJTV is now housed, our partners in public television are here in Newark. That matters.
It matters, and to go back to an off-camera conversation, I asked you and your partners, why are you coming to Newark? The energy, the excitement, all that's here. I mean, you can't help but realize that there are many, many college students, faculty, hardworking, smart people, and we all want to see the city continue to make good progress. And it is happening, and it's accelerating. So that's what's exciting. The acceleration of the change and the continuing improvement, if we can use that word, in what's going on in the city.
Some of the major challenges, Joel, that the city continues to face, with a lot of positive things going on, some of the major challenges that we all know, have to be dealt with directly for the city to reach its potential.
So obviously, the one that always comes up when you talk to people outside of the city, safety and security. So, we talked about the mayor. One of the first things the mayor did was open Precinct 1, right? That's right here in the Central Ward. Very important message that he sent.
For those who don't know, the Central Ward is, in fact, in the downtown, the heart of the city of Newark, so go ahead.
So he is often heard when he was all the way back as a high school principal and now mayor about the issues of safety. I am aware that this mayor goes out, spends a lot of time in the neighborhoods, making sure the police are supported, making sure that people who may want to do bad things are aware that he strongly supports the police. So he has made a very physical and visible effort to make sure that the city is safe and secure, and it is. It is. We have seen a significant outpouring of our students walking around the city, spending more time in the city, and more students who are graduating from here and living in the city. Staying in the city.
Stay on the higher ed piece. NJIT is part of a group of higher ed institutions that are really the lifeblood of the city. The others are right across the street,
Rutgers Newark,
Essex County College, Seton Hall,
right,
University Law School.
RBHS, Rutgers Biomedical and Health Sciences.
Berkeley is here as well.
Berkeley's here in the city.
The idea that these higher ed institutions are here,
Yeah.
what could it mean long term? You've been talking about this for years.
Well, what it means long term is you got a critical mass for change. People in higher ed used to change. We deal with it sometimes hourly. So one, you've got a critical mass for change. You've got a critical mass of hardworking people, intelligent people. You've got a population that is interested in residing closer to their place of work. Cities are, I grew up in a city, so they're dynamic, high energy, a lot to offer. As you probably know, the place that more and more people are retiring are to college towns.
That's right.
To be around the energy and the activity and the events of the college town. So this is a college town. This will appreciate population of people who want to live in and around a city like this, and then all the other assets, transportation, the airport, the trains, the subway, et cetera. So there's a lot of assets in this city.
And finally, real quick on the housing end, your confidence going to get better?
Oh, yeah.
Affordable housing?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're in the bit of the housing business, so absolutely.
Just a little bit. Just
a little bit of the housing. And an expanding role, a little early to unveil, but we'll be increasing our role in housing here in the city.
Can we come back and have that conversation?
Absolutely.
Joe Bloom is the leader here at NJIT, and we are pleased and proud to come here and shoot one-on-one Newark at a Crossroads. So thank you for allowing us to be here with our team, Joel.
Excellent. Very good work, and we invite you back always.
We'll be back.
Okay.
Stay with us. This is One-on-One from NJIT Newark at a Crossroads.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Kimberly McLain is president and CEO of Foundation for Newark's Future. Now, people may not know that name, but that's the foundation that is charged with the responsibility of administering the, quote, Facebook money.
Yes.
Let's play that out a little bit. Facebook money came in 2010?
Yes.
How much money are we talking?
$200 million all told. So Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg donated $100 million as a challenge grant, and it was up to the city and partners to raise a matching $100 million. So all told, over the course of 5.5 years, there'll be $200 million invested in education for kids in Newark.
So when Mr. Zuckerberg did this, I remember it was a major press conference involving a lot of people, but Governor Christie at the time, Mayor Booker,
Sure.
a whole range of other people. What motivated him to do it?
I can't speak for Mark. What I can say is that we in Newark definitely appreciate his generosity. I think, seeing a problem and wanting to tackle it is something that was, very generous of him, and we're very appreciative of that.
Where has most of the money gone?
Most of the money has gone, I would say, to the K-12 sector, both district and charter. Our biggest investment to date has been in the teacher contract between teachers and the school district. That was $48.5 million. All told, we've invested upwards of $100 million of the $200 million, and between ourselves and our partners, $170 million has been invested. There's about $30 million left.
Go back if you could, Kimberly. The Newark teachers contract.
Sure.
$48 million.
Yep.
This ties teacher pay directly to student performance. Is that a fair assessment?
I think it's a little simplistic. It's a little more complex than that. So there are three components of it.
Sure.
One, the contract is designed to reward those teachers who are getting good results and are doing well in the classroom. Two, it's designed to provide the supports that good teachers who need extra support, they can get it through the contract. And thirdly, it is designed in a way that it exits the low performers. And we believe that those three components is what will leave us with a mix of teachers that are dedicated, that are compassionate, that are competent, and very capable of teaching the students.
How'd you get into this whole thing?
Why originally?
It's not a trick question. Everyone's curious, like, how'd she get into this?
Absolutely. So I began at the foundation as a CFO, and when my predecessor left, became the head of the foundation. But I've been involved in Newark in a number of ways for many years. Prior to this role, I was a CFO of the Newark Charter School Fund. I did that for a number of years, and I actually have gone to church here in the city for over a decade now. So very connected, very passionate about Newark.
One of the other initiatives, the Newark Charter School Fund.
Yes.
$4 million. Explain exactly what those dollars are for and what is expected in terms of outcomes.
Absolutely. So from the beginning, one of the premises of the foundation has been that we support high quality seats, and we're agnostic about where those seats come from, whether they're district or charter. So we have a very
District
good...
meaning traditional public schools in Newark versus a charter public school.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so our partnership with the Newark Charter School Fund really allows us to do three things. One, to continue to promote quality of the sector by investing in individual schools, by advocating on behalf of policies that are important, such as facilities. And it also allows us to have a parent engagement initiative. The goal being giving parents choice, giving them rights, letting them know what their options are so that they can make the decisions that are best for themselves and their families.
Yeah, play that last one out a little bit. Choice. Choice within the public schools.
Yes, choice within the public schools. It is our belief that parents in Newark, just as parents in other districts, have the right to choose where their kids go to school. If a district school is best for them, they should go to a district school, and if a charter is more appropriate, they should go there, which is why we've invested in both. We really believe in having high-quality school options across the landscape in the district.
I'm curious about this. You know, some of the folks who have chosen to be critical
Sure.
have questioned return on the dollar. It's not their dollar. It is Mr. Zuckerberg, Facebook's money, others who have put money in this. There's no public money per se.
Right.
But there's some who argue, hey, wait a minute. How much have the kids really benefited from, the students have really benefited from these dollars? You say what?
I would say that the students and their families have benefited from virtually every dollar that has been invested, and I can say that for a number of reasons. One is, as I mentioned, we invested in our teacher contract because we believe an investment in teachers is an investment in kids. We've also invested in neighborhood and community partnerships. We've invested in summer youth employment, working with the city of Newark to employ 2,600 kids. We are working with Rutgers on the Newark City of Learning Collaborative, designed to ensure that by 2025, 25% of the population will have a college degree. We are supporting the opportunity for 4,000 kids who are currently out of school to go back and get a credential or get their degree. We are launching college success centers all across the city so that kids in the city not only know about college but have the tools and resources to get there. In terms of school models, we've opened 6 new schools from our investments.
6 new schools have been opened?
Yes, 3
through
on
the
the
Facebook money?
Yes, we have supported 6 new school models. We've also invested in 15 other existing schools to promote innovation and high quality resources that are needed there. We've invested in early childhood education, promoting professional development of teachers and also supporting parent engagement. So I could go on and on about the investments that we've made, but they've definitely touched the lives of kids and families.
The grant sunsets, meaning it officially ends?
Yes.
June 16th, 2016.
Yes.
What happens then?
Well, it's our goal that at that time, the work that we have done will continue to live on. So we ensure that the investments we make are deliberately and intentionally in partnership with others that are going to outlast us. That's our district, our partners at the district, our partners in the charter sector, our partners in the funder landscape. We seek to ensure that we're investing in things that will live beyond us so that the work can continue.
But the grant is over. That would make it 6 years?
The grant was originally designed as a 5-year endeavor to be a philanthropic shot in the arm. So the announcement was made in 2010. Decisions really started to be made the following year, which is why we're sunsetting in June of 2016.
Kimberly McLain, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Foundation for Newark's Future. And if, you know, the Mark Zuckerberg money, Facebook money, as people like to refer to it, there's other money involved as well. By the way, is there a website if people want to get more information?
Yes, they can visit our website at www.foundationfornewarksfuture.org.
Foundationfornewarksfuture.org. Ms.
Yes.
McLain, I want to thank you so much for joining us, so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Newark is definitely at a crossroads, and we need everyone's involvement. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're at the New Jersey Institute of Technology. I'm Steve Adubato. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
There he is, David Rosenberg, co-founder and CEO of an operation called AeroFarms. How you doing?
Doing great. Great to be here, Steve.
AeroFarms, vertical farming, 69,000 square foot vertical farming operation. Put this in perspective. What the heck is vertical farming?
We grow without sun, without soil. We grow leafy green vegetables. Think spinach, kale, arugula. For us, vertical farming is level upon level of farming. So without the sun, we use LED lights.
Right.
Plants, there's a misnomer. Plants don't need sunlight. They need photons. The LEDs provide those photons, that spectrum of light. We not only give the plants what they want, we take out what they don't want to optimize plant growth. This is the largest vertical farm in the world, growing approximately 1.7 million pounds of baby leafy greens on an annualized basis, 12 levels of growing. So in 36 feet high, 12 levels of growing, 80 feet long, and 35 of those.
How much water are we
racking
talking?
systems. We use 95% less water. Taking a seed, we use 95% less water than they do in the field.
Why?
Because we optimize plant growth. It's just giving the plants what it wants when it wants it. The air in AeroFarms has to do with an aeroponic system. So as opposed to hydroponic where the roots sit in water, we miss nutrition to the root structure. So our growth media, which by the way is recycled material that's 100% reusable, it's 100% recycled material, is a cloth material that holds the seeds. The roots go down, the leaves go up, and about a foot from the leaves you have a row of LED lights that gives, again, the spectrum the plants want when it wants it.
What's it taste like?
The taste is fantastic. My biggest surprise in this journey of AeroFarms was how we could compete on taste and texture. I used to think our value proposition was fresh food. disintermediating the supply chain, enabling local food production at scale. But given this is fully controlled agriculture, we're able to optimize not just yield, nutritional density.
What does that mean,
taste
nutritional
and
density? Back up.
So we could stress a plant a certain way to accentuate certain vitamin elements in the plant. So you want a high antioxidant kale. Think of the category of functional foods. When you buy 2 drinks and you gravitate towards that high antioxidant drink,
right.
We could stress a plant a certain way to make it defensive, so it creates more antioxidants, and therefore you have a higher antioxidant level kale, vitamin A, vitamin D. We could stress a plant to get greater nutritional density. And we could do the same with texture and taste. So you want a sweeter taste, you want a peppery taste. Within the confines of the biology, we could stress a plant to accentuate those properties.
How did you get into this?
For me, it started with a journey of building a business that's impactful to society and the environment and focusing on water. So I was on the Global Agenda Council of Water Security for the World Economic Forum and noticed that 70% of our fresh water goes to agriculture. 70% of our freshwater contamination is from agriculture. So if you want to solve water, look to agriculture. From there, looking at trends of local food production, and from there focusing on leafy greens, because some of the highest nutritional density, some of the highest rates of spoilage, some of the highest rates of food contamination. So there's a real opportunity.
Let's talk about your organization, your operation in the city of Newark. You're partnering with the Ironbound community organization, our friends Joe Delafave over there, who is the CEO. The Ironbound's an interesting community, you know? It's historically was Portuguese, and now it's much more diverse than that. But it's a fascinating community, and I'm interested in how that community, a very traditional community with a large number of immigrants, how they have responded to you being there.
Fantastically. So Joe is truly a partner. The Ironbound Community Center is truly a partner in building something great in the
Why would a
Ironbound.
nonprofit need to be involved? Explain that connection. Like,
So-
why is a nonprofit involved? Someone says, well, it's a business. What does a nonprofit have to do with it?
So we're going to be employing 78 people in this facility in Newark. If you take a typical farm, about 75% of our workers are unskilled workers. And here in Newark, we're getting great engineering talent from Newark and people around Newark. And we're also looking for people we could train to be the farm laborers, if you
Right.
will. And we're working with the Ironbound Community Center to find people. We're also working with the city of Newark to find people to help us work in the farm.
The other thing is, we had Ron Bate, who's one of the big developers in the city. He's involved in this project?
So Ron and RBH, they own the building.
RBH is, in fact, the development company. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank
They
you.
own the building that you're in.
They own it with Goldman Sachs. So this is a real partnership with Goldman Sachs and Prudential Financial as well.
Two very small organizations. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And which is key. And they were great in terms of understanding our business. And we're building a $40 million project. And a lot of that is misleading because a lot of that is for research and development, and our corporate headquarters are going to be in this facility.
So it's not brick and mortar. $40 million of brick and mortar.
Right. It's a lot of what goes into what's called the tenant improvements to create a unique structure. And Prudential, Goldman, Ron own the building. Goldman and RBH own the building. We are a long-term tenant. We have a 20-year lease. And they are also providing us debt to build the infrastructure, the farming equipment.
But I'm curious about this, and I bet folks watching, longtime viewers of public television and FiOS who watch One-on-One are saying, okay, so why did this very high-tech, innovative, entrepreneurial company choose Newark, New Jersey to be the cornerstone of where they're going to be? Yeah. Why?
It's a few reasons. One is we're building a very large farm. We want a lot of mouths to feed. There are a lot of mouths in northern New Jersey. There are a lot of mouths in New York City. The rent is relatively less expensive than it is in other places.
Someone says, hey, it could have been in Brooklyn, you say?
It's cheaper than it is in Brooklyn. And we're also finding great engineering talent in neighboring areas. We found great engineering talent in the city of Newark, but also in neighboring areas. There are good school systems, so it's relatively easy to recruit great people, and we have some great people at the leadership level and all over the organization at AeroFarms. Additionally, the state, New Jersey EDA, we could have been in Pennsylvania, we could have been in New York. The New Jersey EDA, Tim Lazur, the EDA has been fantastic as a partner.
The Economic Development Authority, right?
Correct, to bring us over to Newark. And additionally, my last company, which was a nanotech company, we had manufacturing in Newark. So the city was good to me.
You're
I
not
know
unfamiliar to Newark.
Right, I've been here since 2002. So there's a certain spirit of go with what you know. I know the people in the state of New Jersey, I know the people in Newark, and it's a community that really rallies behind its leaders. So it's easy to get to other decision makers to make things happen.
The idea that's part of this is that you're taking an older building and repurposing it. What does that mean to you?
It's part of our AeroFarms social mission. So we think of the world in terms of what's good for the environment, what's good for the society, what's good for shareholders. On the societal aspect, here, if you look at we have three structures, three farms in Newark. One is an old converted steel factory, the other is an old converted paintball facility, and another is an old converted nightclub. So there's something magical about taking...
I'm sorry for interrupting. You did not say, hey, we're going to build new on something, nothing was... You took older facilities, nothing was going on, you said, we're going to use this.
Yes, and that's actually the harder road traveled. So newer construction is easier.
Yes.
And that's something we are doing in future pipeline work. But there is a certain bravado of saying, let's take something like an old dilapidated building in a tougher part of town, and let's really show we could help rejuvenate this building, rejuvenate this neighborhood, and bring manufacturing jobs into an area.
Before we let you out of here, how bullish are you on the city of Newark?
I'm bullish on the city of Newark. You see more people coming in, more businesses coming in. I'm very bullish on AeroFarms' ability to impact the agriculture industry in Newark, in New Jersey, in the US, and globally. We're talking about projects all over the world.
David Rosenberg is the co-founder and chief executive officer of AeroFarms, a 69,000 square foot facility. They are involved in making a real difference for the city of Newark and its residents. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Steve.
Stay right there.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by Barnabas Health, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, TD Bank, Verizon Communications, PSE&G, the Fidelco Group, and by the North Ward Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been produced in cooperation with FiOS One News.
Hi, I'm Eric. You might see me as an ordinary person, but I've been living with a brain injury for nearly 2 years. One of my struggles is short-term memory loss. At Opportunity Project, I'm given hope and support, and I've gained my confidence back through the job placement program. Despite my challenges, I have a reason to keep improving. Today, even though life has changed me, I believe that anything is possible.
If you have a brain injury, you don't have to face your road to recovery alone.